Okay, I got the bone busters open. Just doing a little more investigation of some things that are going on, just to get the game up to spec so we can play it a little better than it plays. I've been working on the skull a little bit, did some research into that, figured out that, what I think I figured out is that the all the tests I've done on the relay inside, the coil, seem to be fine. It's the transistor which is driving it, which seems to either not be fine or, I don't know what else it could be, really. It's not on the main controller board either. They've mounted it on the back box, which I can't show you because the table's up. But it's Q2, and it's a PNP transistor. And all the tests I've done on it show opens on all the leads. 2 of the 3 of the leads are open. So I'm going to guess it's dead. I can see there's voltage to it, and you know, the signals seem to be fine, but like it doesn't do anything. And all the tests up there seem to be fine. So I'm going to replace it. It's a couple dollars from Marco Specialties. It's a standard model, so might as well give it a shot. It's used a bunch, the same models all over the board. 4 or 5 other lamps, flashers use it. Been looking at the flippers here, and I noted in the last video that there was a weak flipper. And if you look at them, they're different. This is a replacement coil, noted by the darker color and the better writing on it. It's cleaner as well. The original one is it's the same model number, but this is the weak flipper, the right side. And the capacitor, which is used on it, is not the right one. These are all old, really old ones. 3.3 microfarad, 250 volts. A really old style. The original one there. This flipper down here has one. This one is a 2.2 for some reason. This one down here is a 2.2 as well, but this is the tiny little flipper that's up on the right side on the ramp. That's not really a flipper at all. It's just used as a diverter gate. If you've seen the gameplay, you can change where the ball goes left and right by holding in the extra flipper button. And it's pretty much a gimmick, but it doesn't need any power. So, you know, that's a much smaller coil. I don't know why this is here. I don't remember doing it. Maybe I was just playing with things a long time ago, years ago, but I don't remember doing it. So what I'm going to do is buy some replacement capacitors here. I'm going to replace both of these, but I'm only going to do this one first to see if it actually fixes things, and then probably keep a spare when this one dies, because it's going to die the same way. I don't know why this coil was replaced, but it was. So I've been doing that, just been cleaning things up. The playfield's kind of clean, but the cabinet's not. Looks like it was in an environment that was really moist, humid. All this is, it's not mold, but it's mold residue. It's all stained. This is that cheap wood on the bottom that kind of just soaks in the moisture. So I've tried to clean it a little bit, and then I gave up. There's some other evidence that there was liquid in here. These are probably soda spills or beer, who knows. Game works overall though, so I'm not worried too much about that. I'll, you know, spray it down with some bleach or something. Working on the locking bar mechanism here. I had it off because it didn't want to open. And I've noted that that's been the case since, you know, I got it. And this wouldn't move, which wouldn't release these latches for the bar. So I just lubed it up, and now it's completely free. It's annoying to get off because this screw here, or this, is actually one of the ones on the side that holds the rail in. So you have to kind of bash that out. 30 years of rust, but it came out. I got to fix some wiring here. The game doesn't have free play, so you need a coin mechanism. And it's funny because when you close this, that hits and it actually gives you coins. You get to play for free just by opening it. But this had a, you know, there's no lock on it. It had a bar on it. It's got all the residue of don't put coins in. So I don't know, but I can fix all that up. That's just some heat shrink. This is giving me some trouble on the playfield, the plunger. Like the ball's not sitting in the right place when the field is down, and it doesn't really go, like it doesn't go far enough forward to hit the ball all the time. Not as strongly as it should, so something needs an adjustment. There might just be some dirt in the channel. It may need to be elevated. The game may need to be elevated a little more for you to be able to get the ball to actually fall towards the plunger. I don't have it elevated very much. It's at a very, very low angle because that flipper is almost unusable. Like, you can't get it up the ramp, it's so weak. So I have the legs adjusted to be pretty much flat. So that could be it. But that's all. I'm going to order some parts. I'm going to order the capacitor there, those two. I'm going to order the transistor which drives that. I'm not going to order the relay solenoid which is in there because it seems to be working. As far as I can tell, I guess I could always pop a transistor off. It's one of these styles down here. 2955. That is the exact one that is on the back box. So if I was to pull one of those out and put it in there, I could test. But I'm not touching them because they're ancient and who knows what condition they're in. I don't want to have to buy more than I have to. So that's it. I'll be back in a week to finish this up when I have more, but hopefully that'll fix it, and hopefully I'll have a flipper to play. The game's interesting. It's a little quirky, but I will finish up in a week. For you, it'll be a few seconds. For me, it'll be a week. See ya. Okay, got everything in. Don't claim to be any type of professional solderer, but the new caps are much smaller than the old ones. As you can see here, here's one of the original ones. Huge. It's like an inch and a half. These are tiny. These are like half an inch. Same values. Well, same value as this one. 3.3 microfarad, 250 volt. The other ones are 2.2. And I did some digging around, and I think I realized where these came from. If you go to Marco Specialties and you search for Bone Busters by game, the Gottlieb end of EOS, the end of switch, and whatever that's called, EOS switch. That's the second half of this flipper switch. That's what regulates when you press one of the flipper buttons. It sends a surge of electricity through the coil to make the flipper actually move. But you don't want that coil to stay on if you're holding it in. So the second switch here, what it actually does is lowers the amount of current going through it, just enough to hold it closed. It's called the EOS on these flippers, and they all have it because if you don't, you tend to get a huge surge of electricity through and you get a lot of sparks. The Space Shuttle over here suffers from that. These are much older. These flippers spark. If you were to take a video of like the inside the playfield when you hit them, there's just the sparks are huge, and these capacitors actually help filter out those sparks. That surge becomes a little less spiky. It still sends the current through, but not as an arc. Like, you won't see the arcing as much arcing between the contacts. And you can actually see the difference of the top switch. The contacts are really, really clean. The bottom ones are, that's a result of arcing. That's that's where the high voltage, high amperage current goes through. Just a split second, but it's enough to char all that contact material right off the surface, and over time it wears out. So they've done what they can to make flippers last as long as possible. And if you go to Marco, the ones that are tied to this era Gottlieb are these, the 2.2 microfarad, 250 volts. But the manual calls for 3.3s all around. So while I don't know if this will actually fix it, I left this one strapped on because of the zip ties, but this one wasn't even connected. The solder had come off. And on this side was connected, and this is the flipper that was working fine. So I don't actually know what the behavior. I haven't tried any of this yet, so we'll see. But if not, what I'm going to try and do is clean up those contacts as well, and then make sure. I may reflow all the solder on these just because they're old. I mean, it's 35 years or whatever it is at this point. When you put the soldering iron on these solder points, they don't even melt. They're so old. You have to add new solder to it just to get it to start flowing, and it takes a long time. And it's an awkward position being upright here anyway. I didn't want to take the whole thing down and off. So I'll go through and make sure all the connections are, worthy. That's the flippers. I did change out the transistor on the skull. I don't have a picture of that, but I may add that. I don't want to put this down one-handed. It's a pain in the butt. Actually, it won't be so bad. I don't think so. Let's see. You'll crush your hand. That's the only real problem. Oh. And there's no real way to not. Oh. There's the new one, 2955. I got that soldered on. That was easier to do. I don't think it looked like to be the original part, the old one, but I also added the remote battery terminal here, but these traces are, they're shot. Like, I don't even know if the contacts are good. I did what I could to test, and they seem to be okay with the, continuity test across the traces, but we'll see. And it just goes down to a remote battery holder, which I'll mount somewhere. PinWiki has pictures on how to do this. But you should always get the battery off there if possible. Original batteries, they're going to leak. Even if they haven't yet, they're going to. And you won't actually see it. You'll see the battery acid. You won't see any acid. It's the evaporating gas from the inside of the battery that actually corrodes everything. That's why all the way up here, you see traces that are corroded. The battery's in 2 or 3 inches below. And on a really, really bad board, like the space shuttle I had, the whole half of the board, just, this whole half is all corroded. I had to have jumper wires put in. I had to have it sent away to get fixed. So always do that. Hopefully it'll hold the high scores. It's one thing annoying on this game is it didn't have it. So I thought I would do that. So what I'm going to do is we turn it on. I have it plugged in. It's plugged in. I need pinballs or it probably won't start. Yeah, let's start the pinballs in and let's see. This game takes 4 because it's got you can lock up to 2 others. Let's get under here. We'll close this. I'm gonna need a quarter. And leave it open. Again, I have no idea when he talks. When it's supposed to move or not. If it'll move.
Hey, yo, up here.
This game does not have an interlock switch. So, everything should be on. Everything should be working. give ourselves a credit. Flipper work. Here's the top flipper. I think it's still a little weak. Yeah, we'll do that. Yeah, it's still a little weak. Yep, see, it's not even gonna make that ramp. That didn't sound good. Yep, smoke. Back soon.
Okay.
So, he works. He speaks.
Here's one eye.
So, yeah.
Hey, did you hear the one with the traveling salesman?
So the good is that the batteries I put in are working. Eventually you'll see it scroll around here. There's 3 credits. After it's been powered down, they held the top scores there, which is my test game. That held after a power down, so great. That was one of my, it's just a peeve, you know, when games don't save their high scores. There's a couple of them here that don't, and there's some options, but the batteries on this one is the easiest, so we just go with that. Another good is that the transistor that drove his solenoid up there was the issue. So replacing that, he speaks. Eventually.
Okay, go ahead.
I do have to adjust his mechanism though. It's, as I showed, it just pulls on some strings and there's a little bit of slack in there, which is causing that wobble of his jaw. And it kind of just doesn't, it doesn't open far enough. So it's neat, but like it should open further. A little more than that, but it's good that it works. I put in a new key lock here, and I put a new key lock over here. This one was, because I had fixed the bar, if you remember, the coin door was now swinging open. It was just swinging open, and I couldn't get it to stay shut. So I had to actually put a key in it. I had them, I forgot I ordered them, so just threw it in. So now they all have keys, which is good. Not that anyone's gonna take anything, but just makes it look a little nicer. Next is to get the duct tape residue off. But I'm an idiot. If you look back, if you look back at how I hooked up the capacitors, I hooked them up backwards. The manual calls for polarized capacitors. You can see it in the schematics. And the ones that they used originally at the factory were I think they're non-polarized, so you can hook them up either way. But I hooked these up backwards. I had the negative on the wrong end. And so, reading online, the size of the explosion is pretty much equivalent to the size of the capacitor. And that was a big bang. And that was a lot of smoke. And there's nothing left. It's empty. It's completely hollow. It's all over the inside of the machine. There's so much paper on the inside of the machine. It's all over. It's at the back of the cabinet. It's at the front of the cabinet. It's my own fault. I'm an idiot. It worked for a little bit, if you noticed, but, you know, it just couldn't take it anymore and exploded. So I took them off. I took off the other good one I put in and put the old ones back on. Just for now, until I can be certain what I'm doing is right. I did not. I cleaned out the EOS switch, which is... I looked up what it meant. It's like an end to travel switch, but...
Hey, did you hear the one on the traveling salesman?
My memory's terrible. Yeah, so I cleaned it. I cleaned the contact, and it's still weak. It starts off strong on the very first game, but as you play, it gets weaker and weaker and weaker. So I don't know what that means. I might just buy the replacement flipper build kit. You can get the coil itself. You can get the kit. The kit's $79 though, which is a lot. It doesn't come with the coil, so if the coil is the problem, I may have to just get the coil. But at this point, other than the weak flipper, which was really the main thing I wanted, it's working. He speaks. High scores are saving. New lock. So that's it for now, I guess. I tried to put the dome on top, but my ceiling's too low. There's about, even if I took off that board, that little board that's holding him up, it's about a quarter inch too low. So I'd have to lower the game, take the feet off completely if I wanted it to fit. So I might just leave him open. He's noisy. Like you hear the clanking of the jaw, which you probably shouldn't be able to hear if it's inside that dome. But yeah, in an arcade you wouldn't hear it, but you hear it here. So that's it. This isn't too bad. I'll keep working on this, and if I make any headway on the flipper, I'll add another video. But for now, luckily there was no damage other than the popped cap. There's a lot of mess inside the cabinet I got to clean up. It blew itself to pieces. It was amusing, sort of.
Here's one eye.
All right, I will see you next time. Don't hook your caps up backwards.